Welcome to another broadcast of the American and Christian Truth News Network broadcast. Please subscribe, like, and share.
Welcome to the American and Christian Truth News Network. I am your host, Tony Franklin, and this is the Franklin News Angle, whereby every single broadcast we discuss politics, entertainment, religion, and societal issues that affect us as everyday American citizens. After everything that we've gone through as American citizens over the past couple of years dealing with COVID, President Biden admits defeat and says there is no federal solution to fight COVID-19, and now we must rely on the states. In addition to that, 150 victims have been killed by suspects released on bond in the Houston area, which is another Democratic controlled city. What is going on in our nation? These are two of the topics that we're going to touch base and dig into today and give you some truth on the American and Christian Truth News Network. After millions have lost their jobs, thousands of small businesses have gone out of business. People have become sick from vaccinations unreported by the media and suppressed by the White House and social media. Food crisis, inflation due to overspending, gas prices continuing to rise, and a push to force vaccinations with threatening job losses. It seems ironic that President Biden now claims there is no federal solution to fight COVID just days after he released a federal solution to fight COVID. And after countless businesses have been forced to shut down and millions had been forced out of their jobs, as mentioned before, granted, Biden's late December push to fund rapid testing development seems like a wash already given that none of the results will be seen until late January at best. Now, truthfully, with Biden at the helm of the government health bureaucracy, there doesn't really appear to be any federal solution to fight COVID other than trying to force a COVID-19 vaccination on every man, woman, and child. So far, with plenty of breakthrough infections among the vaccinated, that doesn't appear to be a true solution in the sense that it's not stopping the spread as they mentioned it would several times. Biden's comments regarding federal versus state solutions came in the context of speaking with governors early this week. On Monday, Biden said that there wasn't a solution by the federal government to end the nearly 2-year-old pandemic in response to Arkansas's Republican governor, Asa Hutchinson's warning that the president against letting federal solutions stand in the way of state solutions. There is no federal solution. This gets solved at the state level, Biden responded before mentioning another Republican governor. I'm looking at New Hampshire Governor Chris Sununu on the board here. He talks about that a lot, Biden says. And it ultimately gets down to where the rubber meets the road, and that's where the patient is in need of help or preventing the need for help. That seems like an abrupt change from the Biden-Harris administration, don't you think? Especially since Biden, as a candidate, spent the entire campaign bludgeoning President Trump over the federal COVID response. Biden had such grand plans to shut down the virus rather than the country. So far, and more importantly, at this glitch or clutch Omicron Delta moment, Biden has failed spectacularly at bringing about any successful or groundbreaking federal response. while Harris hides in the dark, not to be seen or heard from. Biden tried to restate his position on Tuesday by walking back the no federal solution, talking and making it more of a prep talk for governors. Now, in a sense, this is Biden admitting defeat, that the federal government cannot mandate its way out of a pandemic. It's also Biden admitting defeat that he hasn't brought anything new to the table since his inauguration, as he promised his administration would. The innovations, beyond smacking everyone in the face with vaccines, have all been at the state level, despite Biden getting in the way. There's no overstating how much of a boon this is for people like Governor Ron DeSantis, one of Biden's potential foes in the 2024 election. For Biden to openly admit that states can do a better job fighting COVID than the federal government is to admit his campaign plans were built on a hill of lies from the beginning. This all begs the question, however, why Biden has continued pushing federal solutions to a problem that can only be solved by states. When did Biden come to this conclusion, or when did his administration or his handlers come to this conclusion? His executive order vaccine mandates continue to be struck down and could be wiped away entirely within a couple of weeks by the Supreme Court. The ironic part here, not to mention, is that there clearly is a role for federal government to play. The role is not to play dictator by forcing everyone to get vaccinated or risk losing their jobs. That is not the solution, and is a poor choice being pressed on the American people by our administration. It's to keep the economy open and provide tools, at-home testing to empower individuals and households. The American people have no faith whatsoever in the CDC or the Biden administration, who continues to boggle everything dealing with COVID and the other viruses that are spreading. It is to fund innovative treatments like Paxlovid and other antiviral agents that have extremely high success rates of averting severe illness after a positive COVID test. Now, in short, this is a reset of Biden's COVID war, one that he clearly wasn't prepared to fight beyond his Trump bashing rhetoric during the campaign. More COVID deaths has occurred in 2021 than compared to 2020 under the Biden administration, which means whatever Biden has been doing hasn't been working any better or worse than the previous administration. More people have died, as I just mentioned, under his administration handling this COVID pandemic than under Trump's. If only Biden had been working closely with governors from the beginning rather than fighting with them, we'd be in a better position than we are right now. COVID-19 was supposed to be one of Biden's strong points that he mentioned on the election campaign. And right now, it's looking like another unmitigated disaster at the hands of the incompetent Biden and Harris administration. Now, in addition, we have noted throughout the year that there has been significant damage done to our nation as well, all due to the Biden administration. But now there are some that are taking it one step further, noting how some of Biden's policies have had deadly consequences. You can start, as I mentioned, with the COVID. And because of Biden's compromised position with China, we haven't handled the origin of the virus and the accountability for it the way that we should, knowing that China has released this virus and nothing has been done about it, and they have not been held accountable by this administration, but everything continues to be buried. Biden's vaccine mandates have caused countless numbers of people to lose their jobs and their livelihoods, and in some cases, their lives due to suicide. And to that, the fact that Biden administration has refused to acknowledge natural immunity from the virus or any therapeutics which have caused who knows how many people to die when they could have received help. These treatments that are very effective, you have the government mocking and ridiculing and inflicting a sense of fear in the American people, which has actually caused the death of many of our American citizens, said political commentator Debbie Gorgatos. There was a disgrace in Afghanistan, and maybe the worst thing of all, the deliberate crisis at our southern border. When you look at the way the Biden administration and Harris administration is dealing with the southern border, you must reject the argument that it is incomplete, Gargados told KTRH. Everything that is happening at the border is a direct result of a decision. It is intentional. And once you realize that, you're able to be more broadly see how dangerous the Biden administration is to us as American citizens. The bottom line here is the elite leaders of the left privately have their own view of how America should be against us, the American people, and now they are working to make it a reality. And don't be fooled by the good old Grandpa Joe. This is a vision that Biden signed up for a long time ago. For Biden, like the rest of the Democratic colleagues, it's an exchange, personal wealth and power at the expense of America becoming a socialist nation. This is the planned Great Reset that they have been working on all along, citizens. Biden is perfectly willing to abandon America, Gorgato said. Something we have seen that is crystal clear in his first year. For how can one administration in less than a year bring so much devastation and disaster to our country if it is not being purposely planned? Have we, as the American people, been told that 150 victims have been killed by suspects released on bond in the Houston area alone by catch and release policies? In Houston, Texas, catch and release judges presently on the bench in Harris County have released more than 113 defendants charged with capital murder back onto Houston streets on bond. And more than 150 people have been murdered by accused criminals released on bond. Fox 26 reported that liberal judges have allowed more than 50,000 accused felons out of prison under liberal reforms. The local news outlet pointed out that capital murder is the most egregious offense in the Texas Criminal Code, which has a mandatory sentence of life imprisonment or the death penalty, the news outlet wrote. In all, more than 50,000 accused felons have benefited from the catch and release philosophy of criminal justice perpetrated by the current crop of Democratic reform judges. Fox 26 continued, according to Crime Stoppers Houston, 155 people have lost their lives at the hands of accused criminals, cut loose from custody only to kill while on bond. If it weren't our absolute reality, I'd call it a frightening parallel universe. Another news agency, KHOU, analyzed 407 capital murders charge filed in Harris County between September 2016 and September 2021. They found that records show 113 suspects charged with capital murder were actually bonded out of jail. That indicates that 28% of those charged with capital murder in the Houston area are released to the streets on bail. Of those suspects released on bond, 30 were arrested again for another crime. That indicates that 27% of those released reoffended while awaiting trial. 71-year-old Martha Medina was murdered by one such bonded criminal, according to the Harris County Sheriff's Office. Martha was outside the McDonald's in September when Andrew Williams snatched her purse and then ran over her with their car and killed her. After Williams' arrest for the murder, a court official told the court in a hearing that he should be held without bond because he represents a significant danger to the community. Her daughter wants to know why Judge Hillary Unger released Williams in another capital murder case in 2019 before the murder of her mother. Lourdes Medina asked, "Why? It just doesn't make sense in my head. I'm very angry. I'm frustrated at the decisions you're making as a judge." During his court appearance in October for Martha's murder, her family gathered outside the courthouse, Lourdes said. "I'm here asking the judges to please do their job for once, because I know that ever since that day, I don't feel safe anymore. I don't feel safe going to do my errands, groceries, anything, because I'm always looking over my shoulder and I shouldn't be living this way." She said she will be present at future court hearings with a message to Harris County judges. Do what you're supposed to be doing in office. That is what you were elected for. All of us have placed our trust in you and what you are doing. KHOU found that during the 5 years analyzed, court records show that 7 capital murder suspects were charged with robbery, another 8 with assault, 3 with another murder, all while out on bond. Other criminals include drug and weapons charges, evading arrest and possession of child pornography. Houston Police Sergeant Larry Gibson, who is assigned to the city's Violent Crime Task Force, said criminals released while facing capital murder trials are more dangerous because they have nothing to lose. It's very concerning, he said. It's concerning for everybody involved. Guys out on capital murder bonds that just don't have the fear. They just don't fear. So they're like, I'm out on this. If I get caught, well, I'm already on bond for murder. What else do I have to lose? Lourdes Medina said she is angry that a suspect in a capital murder case could be permitted to walk the streets and actually kill again. She said, "It frustrates me and angers me. This could have been prevented. Had the right decisions been taken, it totally could have been prevented." We have got to make sure that we hold our judges accountable and that we do away with these catch and release laws that are allowing criminals out on bond to once again commit heinous crimes against us as American citizens. It is time that we voice our opinions against these policies and that we stand up as American citizens, fight for our due rights, and see that these criminals are held without release so that they can no longer bring harm to our streets. And these judges who continue to do this, must be removed from their benches. This is the Franklin News Angle on the American and Christian Truth News Network. We'll see you again on our next broadcast.
Thanks for joining us on the Franklin News Angle. Join us every Tuesday and Friday on the American and Christian Truth News Network. And once again, please subscribe, like, and share. The A&CT News Network. Stay informed.